associate with the state of Israel. It's really up. What is this? I can guarantee you that many BIPOC women and queer folks have lusted after Fred Hampton, Thomas Sankara, Che Guevara, and Fidel Castro, among many other communist revolutionary figures. Just because you personally don't get sexually aroused by leftist/commie revolutionary types who fight for true liberation doesn't mean other people don't. We are human. We experience a whole range of human emotions every day. Horniness is one of them. Okay. Bring back shame. Some things need to be only relegated to the halls of academia if you want to have a conversation about that. You know what I mean? You can write a PhD dissertation on it or some shit. But like, you don't have to blast it on Twitter to be like, I want to and suck Che Guevara, and it's normal, and you should also agree with me when I say that. That's crazy. Just write a dissertation, keep it in the halls of academia, or just, keep it in your own mind. I don't know. Horniness is one of them. Just be real about it. Yes, we might get sexually aroused sometimes, even while we are simultaneously fighting for liberation. Yes, even while we are actively fighting against a literal genocide. We don't have to pretend we aren't sexual because others are suffering a genocide. Trying to make ourselves suffer 24/7 somehow thinking that solidarity does not do anything to help other people being genocided. I refuse to be shamed for being a human being who gets turned on sometimes by other strong anti-fascist and anti-Zionist Marxist communists who fight strongly for liberation for all. We must be honest about this. We fight for everyone to have the freedom to be able to experience and express all of the normal human emotions too, such as joy and pleasure, including Palestinians. Wow. What is this? Oh, Connor is back at it again. The irony of my name is that it's remarkably common, yet in this context holds deep lore beyond whoever bears it. I was thinking that. Not enough people giving you credit for that. Would love to unpack this with you on my show, Adrian. We play Fortnite together in a talk show format. Kind of like Hot Ones. Fire emoji. The fans would love to see it. God, I love Connor. He's hilarious. When the Tumblr CEO accidentally posted his DMs, when will you be honest with your followers that the repeated adult content violations were not pictures like this, but likely ones on your other accounts? Actual names: Irish Big Cock Girl, Burger Foot Job, Furry Vor Burps, Breadstrogen, Cum Burp, Dog Girl Ballsack, Hung Queen, Big Titty Cock Girlfriend, Big Cock Titty Girlfriend, Girl Taint, Musk Mommy, Girl Ballsack, Shower Sharts, Sapiosexual Breeder, Cat Girl Hairball. You know what's funny? You don't need to know that this is the Tumblr CEO accidentally posting his DMs. This context stands alone. If you just clip this part out and just read the statement, you'd be like, oh, someone is doing a meme about the Tumblr CEO accidentally posting his DMs. Me getting really defensive about his sexuality. Oh, that was funny as well. Yeah, this was when I got a girl around me, I'm her twice a day. Lol. Ask some of your favorites. Pussy don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to the gay people, but that juicy pussy do it for me. I done ran red lights to get that feeling. Y'all weird on here like devils, lol. Y'all choose to watch rap battles and gossip. I watch Gaza, Israel, Haiti being torn apart. I watch the state of people really poor in real life. Some think I'm different. I think they are clueless to real life. But hey, who am I? Y'all do coke. I don't. Some gay, I'm not. That was actually a banger when Meek Mill got like incredibly defensive over not being gay, and then everyone on the timeline was like, oh, you've definitely had sexual intercourse with men. Posting like a dude who has absolutely had sexual intercourse with men. Woke Jeopardy ideas. Difficult question that require context for $400. Is it better to A, cleanse the earth and nuclear fire, B, vote Republican? What? Again, Elon being an imbecile. Mackenzie Scott plans to give away all of her money. So far, she's given away $16.5 billion. Yet she's even giving away money to nonprofits that aren't asking for money. I'm not stopping until the safe is empty. Super rich ex-wives who hate their former spouse should be filed. Should filed be listed among reasons the Western civilization died? Yeah, this is how the Western civilization dies. Wait, what is this? This is who you're trading against? I don't even remember this guy. Kind of proving the point here, man. Beautiful afternoon in Tel Aviv. Can't find any apartheid, but just had some jalapeno hummus that was excellent. Pedo posting. You're a soldier of Alexander. You just broke into the Palace of Babylon and you see exactly this in one of the rooms. The girl just turned 16. What do you do? What the Dude, this needs to be talked about. 2024 had infinitely more overt defense of wanting to fuck minors on the timeline than any other year prior. So many people were either outed as pedos or openly defended pedophilia for no reason after others were outed as pedos. That's Sydney Sweeney, Hassan. I know, dude. This is a person of age. It is weird to look at a person who is of age and be like, but imagine if she was 16, just turned 16, was 15 yesterday. What is wrong with you? But yeah, post Elon purchase of Twitter, pedophilia has and defense of pedophilia has skyrocketed. I don't know if this is just like my estimation because I'm just seeing it more. I don't know, but it does feel like it has certainly gone up for sure. Love, no penis was included to invite contemplation. What? Autonomous man, this is what evolution looks like. You can't hate, stop it, join or die. No penis was included to invite contemplation that the future may defy our expectations in the most surprising ways. I mean, Brian Johnson does take a load of estrogen too, no? Guy who is definitely not gay. I love bodacious tatas. Oh, Rod Dreher, my favorite in the closet gay man. I know a lot of people don't like Richard Hanania, a white supremacist. But any man who can launch and sustain a discourse on how Sydney Sweeney's bodacious tatas are a formidable weapon against the curse of wokeness is doing something urgently right. Carry on, lad. The 90s were 30 years ago, you old hag. It's so cringy to see middle-aged men wearing Nirvana band t-shirts like they're trying to fit in with young people. Like, shouldn't you have your own style from your own era? Yeah, middle-aged men wear Nirvana band t-shirts because they're middle-aged men. No young people are wearing Nirvana brand t-shirts because it is not from their era. Haven't considered this. Maybe settlers are good after all. There's this weird idea of all settlers as some kind of messianic religious fanatics. Well, I'm a settler and I'm totally a secular geek who plays D&D for a living. Read tons of fantasy and science fiction and watches anime. You are still a settler. That you don't use religion to justify what you do isn't the win you think it is. I don't need to justify anything to the likes of you. I live because I live. If this isn't good enough for you, I don't care. I don't see you harassing American or Japanese people about why they're alive. That's amazing. Large penis worship is just another form of slave worship. Virtue and penis. Oh, this was an amazing one too. Virtue and penis size are inversely proportional. Shaming men for having small penises is anti-European and anti-aristocratic. Enjoy your free lunch while it lasts, slaves. Your time in the sun is coming to an end. Yeah, the Hellenist openly coming out in defense of men with small penises. 100%. As someone suffering from ADHD and autism, cocaine has gotten me through some of my toughest periods of my life. I don't support relying on it to This is, again, another banger. That vegan healer saying cocaine helped with their ADHD and autism. I don't support relying on it to function forever, as I myself am on rehab. But I'd be lying if I said it hasn't literally saved my life time and time again. Dogs are settler colonial. It looks like the cut, and people more broadly are beginning to catch up to the idea that dogs in large cities are essentially settler colonial, a way for their owners to move into and occupy more of the urban space than they are allotted while making it everyone else's problem. Oh, this was amazing. The year in Hasbara could be a list in and of itself. My wife is a brave Jew. We stood alone at Yale University today. She wore no mask and was proud. Notice the horde hiding behind their masks. This was fantastic. Swifties turned into J. Cole fans this year. People hate Taylor Swift's music because it challenges and forces them to slow down, digest, and engage deeper with what they're audibly consuming. Instant gratification is ruining our ability to fully appreciate music. Brianna Wu had a banner year. This will not be her only appearance. It's not hard to figure out why someone white would have an Asian last name. Oh my God. That's a wild tweet. That's just like, she's like, yeah, I have a fetish. I don't get it. Brianna Wu is a white lady who is married to an Asian man, which is perfectly valid, perfectly normal. Who gives a shit? And I think she might have been responding to me on this. You know, she maybe took it a little too far. Why not just post your husband alone and be like, this is my wonderful husband who I love and deeply admire, and that's why I have his last name. She's a libertarian. It all makes sense now. Oh my God. From the ranks of libertarian guys with Asian wives comes libertarian wives with Asian guys. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even think of that. Leif Rasmussen. I might be a psychopath. I was at the grocery store and I saw this lanky brown kid in a cafe with the most effete sociology grad student you ever heard. As he was walking down the aisle, he turned to his friend and was like, "Oh my God, Ritz crackers are the most disgusting thing ever. If you haven't ever had one, consider yourself lucky." Something in me wanted to throw an opaque sack over this kid's head, quickly drag him out of the store, throw him in a van, drive him to an abandoned warehouse, lock him in a closet, and only give him a daily rotation of cockroaches and boiled shoe leather to eat. Then after like 3 months, slide a box of Ritz crackers through a little hatch in the door. Yeah, no, you are a psychopath, man. I'm an advocate for free speech. I don't think that, things you say should land you in prison, except I've decided if you think this and you say this out loud, you should go to prison. There is such a thing as too much. At least get a knock on the door from the authorities to check the basement. You know what I mean? Unimpeachable analogy. The Persian Jewess. Imagine people flooded the streets and supported Diddy, claiming this attack on Cassie was justified resistance against oppression. Then you'd feel a fraction of the shock, rage, and betrayal Jews are feeling over the suffering of the hostages. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, except you don't have to go too far here. There is mass that the Israeli occupying force has done with regular frequency, and you and many others either defend it or completely ignore it. So wild to do a Diddy analogy in defense of Israel and the broad reception that defenders of Israel receive. Missing the mark a little bit. Interesting way to stop anti-Semitism, but who am I to second guess? Meet Ireland's Foreign Minister Michael Martin family. On October 7th, Hamas terrorists kidnapped his daughter, Ayob Martin, into Gaza. Today, Foreign Minister Michael Martin announced he is rewarding his daughter's rapists with a state of their own. Lunacy, right? This post is for illustrative purposes only and did not actually occur. Yeah, that was a... Stop Anti-Semitism is so insane. It's awesome. For the record, this did not happen. Stop Anti-Semitism was just like... is a schizophrenic Long Island woman, and because of the incredible amount of legitimacy that we randomly offer any and every group or person that is pro-Israel, that she just gets to be a psychopath on her own, and people still like kind of take her. They don't take her super seriously, but like people still act like that's a real legitimate organization. Peasant brain, normal. It's heartbreaking when my youngest son's eyes light up and he points and says, "Look at the sky." I'm like, "That's not the sky." Medieval peasant brain. I love that. Hey, you're fat, right? What do you think of my fetish cartoon? I do think this one is worth addressing. I tried to base it off the original, which also has her eating. I also ran it by plus-size friends and they didn't seem to mind. Okay, Joe Cat slander will not be tolerated. He's just horny, man. He's just weird and horny. I am choosing to believe the First Lady sucked Joe Biden's dick so hard on Thursday afternoon that his mouth stayed open until Sunday. Let that one sink in a little bit. Let's... Perhaps the most like the police anyone has ever looked. A group of black teenagers started calling me police as I walked past them in Manhattan today and kept repeating it. I don't think I look like the police. The Lindy Man, Luigi Mangione's favorite author. Never forget, Paul Scalas might have triggered Luigi Mangione into doing something. Literally. I will never forget. Work means playing Diablo and posting 18 hours a day. Everyone is praising Mark for this video, but I personally still think he zucks. May he continue to have fun on his yacht. I prefer to work. Yeah, Elon Musk working. Black Americans were offered to go back to Africa by Lincoln. They chose to stay and took active part in American expansionism. So black Americans should at least be considered colonizer collaborators. Hard to swallow pills. Black Americans are much more colonizers than Israeli Jews. Oh my God. This is my favorite genre of tweet from Israel defenders, is that they randomly will get like so unimaginably anti-black. It's awesome. People whose ancestors were brought here as slaves against their will, forcibly ripped away from their homes and endured mass and were trafficked as cattle, are actually significantly more a colonizing force than dudes who flew in from Long Island to take a random Palestinian family's ancestral home. Yeah, no, totally. Incredible stuff. Pundits, Joe Biden needs to drop out. Biden, no. Oh, this was a banger too. God, so many good stuff happened around July. Incredible takes. This one, probably one of the best of the year. Pundits, Joe Biden needs to drop out. Biden, no. Pundits, but we really want Joe Biden to drop out. Biden, no. 8 House Dems. Joe, the pundits say you need to drop out. They really want that. Biden, no. George Clooney, come on, Joe. Just relax. You'll like dropping out. Biden, no. Voters, no means no, motherfucker. Politics and culture are too similar for comfort. excellent. Biden Dead Enders in and of itself was a unique genre of tweeting that I think we only get once in a lifetime. You know what I mean? I mean, this is also obviously in the halls of the greats. To answer the question on everyone's minds, no, Joe Biden does not have a doctorate in foreign affairs. He's just that f***ing good. Fantastic stuff. Thank you. I've never realized just how much this country hates the elderly until last week. It's really shameful, and I don't know what to tell you, but 81 is not that old. If 81 is not that old, what's that old? Guys, I could really use some love right now. I just let my miserable liberal wife know who I am and how I feel. Pretty sure we're done. Libtard wife. Start every day with lots of self-love. What is the ChatGPT prompt? Why did a lot of African Americans like the jazz singer? Incredible. Pits out for Kamala. Love this trend. I didn't even know this was a trend. When I was growing up, friends would take out their balls and put them on each other's heads when they were laying down. Years later, I read an article by a veteran who described this happening in the military, and he said he was sexually assaulted. So stupid and pathetic. I mean, that's crazy. It's good to have boundaries. Is there a polite way to tell a coffee shop clerk owner, and I and probably others would work remotely from your fine establishment if the music was lower, but I can't hear myself think, let alone do phone interviews and Zoom calls here. Nobody wants you talking on the phone and taking Zoom calls at the coffee shop. What the f is wrong with you? Go home. Swear at me again, and you're blocked. More noncery. She's 18 years old, but has been ovulating since she was 12 and a half. Would you prefer to marry her at this age or at a younger age? What is the ideal age a girl should be at marriage, in your opinion? I think we need to lobotomize some people. Bring back lobotomies in 2025. Rarely ever do I read a tweet that just like immediately gives me a full body visceral reaction. Gross! Yeah, mandatory hard drive check for all people that tweet like that. Mandatory. You can leave this for your therapist. A CEO I worked for seduced my wife in retaliation for my pushback at him at work. He won. I got divorced and left the company. When I say I truly understand how some executive teams can be political snake pits, I trust you will believe me. Learn from my pain. Do the following. You got cucked by your CEO and then you wrote it out loud. Oh, thank you. Thank you for having no shame whatsoever. Once again, incredible. Beyonce walks in, a cappella. Taylor Swift brings in harmony. After a verse, a quiet guitar joins in and Dolly Parton arrives. As the live band brings it to a peak, Simone Biles flips across the stage. A lone eagle soars across the audience, screeching, yes. The eagle places a crown on Kamala's head, screeches, lands on her shoulder. Game over. No need for an election. That's right. And because that didn't happen, that is the reason why Kamala Harris lost. Drew Pavlov was obviously a poster MVP, getting posterized on the timeline for our satisfaction. Drew Pavlov, Malcolm X, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Now, obviously, he is an incredibly racist liberal, like an unimaginably racist liberal, which is why him using Malcolm X quotes is already funny to begin with, because he is the guy who, I guess, plays the role of the newspaper, even though he's not. Malcolm X hated Israel. He would have hated you too, Tony Montana replies, to which he turns around and says, I would have talked to him and things would have turned out very differently. But there's more. Didn't he claim that he's like spiritually Malcolm X or something? Like he came back to life? Truth nuke. If Rihanna held an AK-47 to my head when I was 16 and said, I'm gonna make a man out of you, white boy, absolutely no way I would have been upset. Incredible. Oh, it wasn't about Malcolm X. Sorry. He said he was a Tiananmen Square protester in a past life, and also that he was black in a past life. That's what he had said. This was incredible. A grifter that detransitioned because of October 7. Another one in the halls of greats. Tomorrow marks my 1-year anniversary of not wearing a breast binder. On October 7, 2023, I awoke to a siren. I didn't have enough time to squeeze myself into the barbaric breast squashing device I had used to pass as a man. I had only enough time to run to a bomb shelter. Guys, please pray for me. I feel so depressed that I'm already drinking vodka Coke at 8 a.m. I don't know. Since I've become Catholic, it just feels like I'm in an abusive relationship with Pope Francis, and I'm just not sure how much longer I can take it. Pope Francis said he will consider openness to transgender people when naming a new U.S. bishop. I've also fallen back into an old habitual sin that I thought I had already escaped. Right after going into confession too, it all feels so hopeless. I also may have posted something blasphemous without realizing. What is this? This is the 9/11 autism tweet. Attention, Drew haters. To all the haters who claim I am not neurodivergent enough to reclaim the use of the word R word in a progressive and liberating fashion, I just dug up my old kindergarten records. Explain this. I was basically the goat of being on the spectrum as a kid. My mom got me tested when I was 4 because I was obsessed with 9/11 in kindergarten and kept building block towers so that I could try to understand how the World Trade Center buildings collapsed. I didn't know Drew looked like this. Breaking footage of global terrorist Drew Pavlov getting arrested for bomb threats has been released. He doesn't look like this anymore, by the way. He's gotten significantly fatter, and from what I understand, he's very self-conscious about it and gets really mad about it. Well, 9/11 is my autistic special interest too, Drew. In retrospect, she's kind of cooking with gas here. Can't stop thinking about the irony of Liam Payne and Yahya Sinwar dying on the same day. An icon of the West, falling to the perils of addiction and excess. An icon of the East, resisting the siege of imperialism he spent his whole life under. The poetics are there. I mean, it's a little bit of a wild comparison, especially because how the f is Liam Payne an icon of the West? I think you really wanted to make that fit. I watched Terrifier 3 last night, and the thing is, I've seen so much gore coming out of Gaza lately, the movie kind of didn't shock me. What did you want to convey here exactly? You're not men, you're boys. If there was no social media, you would be my concubines. Another incredible take from a guy openly just being like, I want to do to you. Just no shame whatsoever. Very weird fantasy. I want to have gay sex with you against your will is just an insane thing to say. Oh, yep, this is it. This is the Drew pose. While I am white, I have black street cred. Put me on the streets of Compton and I could organize a ceasefire between the Bloods and the Crips within 24 hours. This was originally about euthanasia. You people would treat your cats and dogs with more dignity than your loved ones who are faced with a slow, painful death and no hopeful terminal illness improving. Aren't you the one who stopped masking around your cancer-stricken husband? Someone needs to beat your ass to a pulp for thinking it's all right to talk like this. You would fold faster than a wet tissue paper if I saw you offline, lol. I think it's really funny where people on Twitter talk about how they would beat each other's asses in the real world. Because if you're posting on Twitter, especially with like an anonymous account, you're not going outside. You're just not going outside. You go outside and you see sunlight, you perish. So it's very funny when people go, oh, pull up, like I'll beat your ass. I could literally just cough on you. Colonizer threatening me with bioterrorism. Exactly. Another banger. What is this one? This is the last second edition on December 27th. A trans Nazi putting up a Nazi flag with trans pride colors. Always so strange to see stuff like that. What do you call that person? Yeah, exactly. And Hearts of Iron 4 player. Okay, that's what you call that person. Someone who plays Paradox games. Maybe a little too much. Well, oh, this drove people insane. The olfactory ethics English lit dissertation sounds cool and you're all stupid. Her unnecessary synonyms in the subtitle bodes poorly for her intellect. Olfactory ethics, the politics of smell in modern and contemporary prose. What? Isn't modern and contemporary prose different? Like two different subsects of prose? What? Yeah, of course she's gonna specify that. What the f? There's something so funny about thinking that you know more about literature than a person who has written an entire dissertation on it. Like, you think you have not only a better grasp of the English language, which you clearly don't, but you also know more about English lit than a person who's writing a PhD on it. How? My bestie, Richard Hanania, shows his gift, an uncanny ability to guess which trans women have penises and which don't. Oh my God. What? Well, he may be a pedophile, but Epstein allegedly forced a minor to have sex with Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz. This is too bad. I like his politics. Oh well. Personally, I probably wouldn't say that at this time. Why not? I agree with his politics as a rational, classical liberal. He might be a pedophile, but he's spot on regarding law and politics. I won't apologize for supporting his stance on those things. He says, separate the art from the artist. Except for Alan Dershowitz, his personal affairs with Jeffrey Epstein also are his politics. Alan Dershowitz famously once wrote an article about, from a constitutional framework, simply as a tenured law professor, a constitutional scholar at Harvard University, he constitutionally wrote an argument in defense of lowering the age of consent. Constitutionally, of course. And then, of course, this is the greatest tweet of the year. I am constantly insulted on this platform. What a banger. This is the banger tweet of the year.
Obama.
So chat, speaking of experts in the Israeli-Palestine conflict, Ethan Klein was corrected very seriously by the Do Not Worry Pod, a podcast done by some Lebanese content creators in Lebanon.
Addressing the South Africa problem. That sounds ominous. All right, let's check this out.
You know what makes me mad? You know what really grinds my gears? When people have a healthy relationship with their body. Your relationship with your body should be like your relationship with your creepy uncle. Every time you see your body, it should make you want to go run and hide in the closet. And every time you eat too much food, that should make you feel like when your uncle hugs you for just a little bit too long. So you're like, if you can't hug me for a normal amount of time, then I'm not gonna hug you at all, Harold. Your relationship with your body should be like that. If there's one message that young girls need to hear now more than ever, it's that you can never be too skinny. No matter how skinny you are now, you should always try to be even skinnier. And the best way to achieve this is by calling yourself a nasty, filthy little piggy. You might respond to this by saying that this sounds like a perfect recipe to send people down a self-destructive spiral of disordered eating and mental illness. Well, you know what I have to say to that? No. Nuh-uh. Think again. And you want to know why I'm saying nuh-uh, no way? Because I get my health advice from the TikToker King Krabby Patty, my thinspiration queen.
I was like, I don't want to work out. And then I was like, well, you look like you fucking need it. Oink, oink, bitch. It's not self-love summer until it's skinny summer.
I don't care what any of y'all say. It's never helpful to be kind to yourself. If I was kind to myself, I'd still be fucking laying in bed like a big fat loser. I literally looked in my mirror. I said, oink, oink, bitch. You want to complain about how much you weigh and then lay here in bed all day like a big fat fucking loser? And here we are, being productive. Period.
Period, queen. Slay. Us fat piggy girlies are in our self-hatred era. Brat girl summer is over. It's time for fat piggy girl fall.
I try to live my life by the golden rule, treat others how you would want to be treated. That's why I treat others like shit, because I think that I deserve to be treated like shit, because I hate myself, because my thin-spoke queen, King Krabby Patty, told me to. This might sound a little bit too radical. Stop me if I'm saying anything a bit too crazy, but you can actually be kind to yourself and still exercise consistently. And I would actually argue that being incredibly mean to yourself is actually just going to make you less likely to want to exercise consistently, because if you happen to miss working out one day and then you spend the rest of the day beating yourself up and feeling like a failure, this is just going to make you less likely to want to work out in the future because you want to avoid having to feel like a failure. Recently, I've lost about 35 pounds and I've been consistently working out for the past 6 months or so. And one of the reasons that I've been able to consistently work out is because I have a personal trainer that tells me to not beat myself up if I happen to miss a day or two. In the past, I would call myself a fat pig and refuse to be kind to myself and feel like an absolute failure if I missed a day or two, which would inevitably lead to me stopping going to the gym. in general, positive motivation is always going to be better than negative motivation. I think that trying to lose weight by hating yourself and calling yourself a fat pig is just a stupid thing to do, because you can just as easily lose weight without purposefully hating yourself and without putting yourself at a higher risk for developing an eating disorder. I personally suffer from a binge eating disorder, and one of the reasons my eating disorder is so bad is because I hate myself so much. And over time, the less I hate myself and the better my mental health is, the easier it is for me to lose weight because I don't binge eat as often. I'm not saying that negative motivation is always bad. There are some times where I'm feeling tired and I just don't want to go to the gym, but I just need to tell myself to shut the fuck up and get over it and go anyway. But in my opinion, negative motivation is only healthy in very small doses. And I absolutely don't think it's healthy to tell your audience of primarily young women that you should motivate yourself to exercise by being mean to yourself and calling yourself a fat pig. Today we're looking at a TikToker named King Krabby Patty who works for Barstool Sports because of course she does. She's your typical LA influencer who doesn't really have anything interesting to say, so she has to gain popularity by saying stupid, inflammatory shit. Over the past couple of months, she's gained a decent amount of popularity by going against the body positive movement by saying that you actually shouldn't love your body and you actually shouldn't treat yourself with kindness. This happens every once in a while where someone will get popular because they say the things that everyone else is too afraid to say. But sometimes the reason people are afraid to say things is because those things are stupid.
Born to be skinny, forced to be fucking fat because I'm so fucking unathletic. That was a mile. Can't fucking breathe, feel like shit. Worth it to be skinny, okay? Worth it to be fucking skinny. Miserable now, or miserable all summer when I look like a fucking beached whale. I'm gonna choose miserable now. I said, I don't think I want to run today. And I said, well, I think you look like a pig. Oink, oink, bitch. Do you want to go another summer with your fat fucking stomach and your chubby little fucking thighs that make you look like one of those little fat babies? No. Be nice to yourself. Bitch, I tried. And now I'm 10 pounds heavier than I was like 6 months ago.
You're 10 pounds overweight, then you're basically fucking Brendan Fraser from the fucking Whale movie. You're such a piggy that you should slice off your ass, soak it in some honey, then serve your ham ass to some impoverished children who actually need it, you pig bitch. You should inject Ozempic directly into your coochie so your pig lips stop flapping every time you walk up the stairs, you miss piggy ass land whale ass bitch.
So yeah, this is the format of how her TikToks about weight loss work. Go on a walk, insult yourself for being a pig, rake in the views. I'm sure as a fat person, she would expect me to be offended by these TikToks. I'm genuinely not. You're telling me that a Valley Girl LA influencer who works for Barstool Sports doesn't particularly like fat people? Whoa, that's crazy. Like, yeah, her TikToks might hurt fat people's feelings a little bit, but it's nothing that we haven't heard a million times before. The main people I'm actually worried for are the young women in her audience who might develop eating disorders because they follow her advice. And if young women who are already at a healthy weight watch her videos where she calls herself a fat pig, this can lead to them thinking that they're also fat pigs, which can lead to them thinking that they need to lose weight even though they're already at a healthy weight,